So Affirm's CEO just got on their earnings call and said they had a really great quarter. Okay, but what does that actually mean? Let's dig into what's really going on behind the scenes and what it tells us about where they're headed.
I mean, you gotta love the confidence here. CEO Max Levchin basically gets on the call and says, look, things went so well, there's not much to say. Let's just get to your questions.
But before he could do that, he dropped one massive piece of news that honestly changes the whole conversation about the company's future. And that huge piece of news? It all came down to a single number: 5.
That's 5 more years on their partnership with Amazon in the US. This is huge. It locks in one of their most important relationships all the way through 2031. It's just a massive vote of confidence from, one of the biggest retailers on the planet.
Okay, so with a monster deal like that secured, let's pop the hood and take a look at the financial engine that's making all of this possible.
In a market where a lot of companies are struggling to raise money, Affirm is having no problem at all. And the reason is pretty simple. The loans they're creating are performing really well, and investors are lining up to buy them. So, to understand how they see their own performance, you have to get this one key metric they talk about all the time. It's called RLTC. So, what the heck is that? Right, RLTC. It stands for Revenue Less Transaction Cost. The simplest way to think of it is as their core profit margin on the loans they make. It's what's left over after you pay for the money and account for any losses. It's probably the purest signal of how healthy their core business is.
Now, this is where their strategy gets really interesting. Their long-term target for this metric is somewhere between 3 and 4%, but right now they're actually running hotter than that at 4.2%, and that's a choice. They are deliberately taking that extra profit and plowing it right back into growing the business. It's a classic growth-first move.
So how are they turning that financial firepower into actual growth? Well, let's break down their playbook because it shows they're trying to be way more than just another button to check out.
It really comes down to 3 big things. First, they partner with the big payment platforms to get integrated into stores faster. Second, they're building a real relationship directly with consumers through their app and their card. And third, they're creating their own shopping events.
And that direct-to-consumer piece is absolutely taking off. The Affirm card, which lets you use Affirm basically anywhere, added another 500,000 active users in this quarter alone. I mean, 500,000 people in 3 months. That is serious momentum.
A huge part of why people seem to love them is this focus on what they call honest and true 0% APR. As their COO said, when they offer 0%, that's it. There are no late fees, no hidden charges, no gotchas. They see that transparency as a massive competitive advantage.
This all culminated in a big promo they did called 0% Days. The whole idea was to prove to merchants that they can actually drive new sales for them. And get this, their internal nickname for it was the Big Nothing Day. It's kind of perfect, right? A clever nod to their nothing-to-hide 0% offers.
Okay, so if you pull back, you can see the thread that connects all of this, the partnerships, the card, the promotions. It all comes down to one thing, their deep, data-driven connection with their customers. That's the secret sauce.
So what is that data telling them right now? Well, in the CEO's own words, the consumer is pretty damn healthy. People are shopping, they're borrowing responsibly, and they're paying their bills. Delinquencies are right where they expect them to be.
And Levchin shared this fascinating little tidbit that shows just how precise their data is. During a recent government shutdown, their system actually detected a tiny slowdown in spending, just a few basis points, specifically among government employees. But, and this is the key part, they saw no increase in missed payments. It just proves how sensitive their monitoring is to even the smallest economic shifts.
All right, so they've got a great quarter in the books, the Amazon deal is locked in, and the consumer data looks solid. The big question now is, where does the growth come from next?
Well, it looks like they're focused on a few key areas. They're going to go even deeper with their biggest partners like Amazon and Shopify. They're also pushing into new service-based categories. Think things like auto repair. Of course, they're going to keep pushing the Affirm card, and you can definitely expect to see more of those targeted shopping events. When you put this all together, you can really see their bigger ambition. This isn't just about being a buy now, pay later option anymore. The real question, the game they're playing, is whether they can actually transform Affirm from a checkout tool into an everyday financial habit, fundamentally changing how we shop and pay.